Have you, in your experience, ever found yourself conflicted between being an American Muslim man and, well, actually, it would be between being American and a Muslim man? Have you ever come across that in your work or in your personal life?
I think when young people are trying to struggle with their identity, they're always going to run into that. I think it's a perfectly natural part of growing up. You're trying to figure out who you are, right? And to the extent that you feel a conflict, at least for me and the people that I know growing up, that conflict did not come from within so much as it came from without. I mean, other people telling you can't be both. But I think for my generation, looking in and kind of pushing those voices out and really exploring that, I personally don't know anyone who had a problem reconciling those two, because the American landscape allows for such a freedom to be who you want to be that that freedom stops when you're imposing on the rights of others. And so long as you live in this space where you want to be a Muslim and contribute to society and whatnot, and just like everybody else has a right in society to be who they are without infringing on other people's rights, then there's really no conflict. The conflict only comes when you want to impose your will on other people, and there are people like that in every group of people. I mean, we see that in the political scene in this country. So as long as that we have that harmony, I think we'll be fine. But it really is forces from outside that are telling us that we can't be both that leads to a lot of people questioning that.
Mazen?
Oh boy. So for me, I'd have to say I had it very easy growing up. I'm fairly light-skinned because of my Syrian background. And grew up in the Detroit area where there's a lot of diversity, and went to a very diverse school. And although my sisters covered later in life, they, because they wore the hijab, had more difficult issues growing up than I did. So I never really had a major moment where there was a conflict until, the Obama campaign in 2008.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So that's the subject of my essay in the book, which is the first time I've ever really told the story in print from my vantage point of this immense experience that I had in 2008. Just in the short story is that I got so excited about Barack Obama's candidacy for president. He's a Chicagoan, I'm a Chicagoan. I had heard of him ever since even I was in law school in '97. In fact, there's a nice story to tell there. But to keep it short, I decided to take a leave of absence from my large law firm in order to work full-time for the campaign, thinking that I could play a solid role or a positive role in bridging the campaign to the American Muslim community and also the Arab American community. And before I knew it, one thing led to another, and I ended up becoming the national outreach coordinator for the Obama campaign to the American Muslim and Arab American communities. And just to be clear, I treated those very separately in the campaign. If I sent an email, depending on where the email was going or the topic, I would change my title accordingly, because even though these two communities overlap quite a bit, they are politically and in many different ways different. Anyway, it didn't take long after my position became public that the far right did some negative research and linked me, guilt by association ×2, ×3 degrees, was enough in the context of the campaign to necessitate resignation, especially when it was the Wall Street Journal that was coming after me. So, so that's the story, and I tell it in much more detail in the book. It was quite the whirlwind that day, but there's been a lot of good that's come of it.